Up, we're running, we're live, and in a minute or so, we're going to get into the show. All right, yeah, we're just going to leave it right there. And yeah, we're going to get into the show. Today, we're talking about the growth mindset and talking about how this can drastically benefit your career. So if you're an athlete, as you tune in, I would love to hear from you. If you have tuned into the show before, you know the drill. The goal here is to help impact the lives and careers of athletes around the world. So if you are an athlete and you are tuning in, make sure to share this off with a teammate, share this off with a friend, share this with somebody else who is going to need to hear this message. We're going to be getting into the show in about a minute, talking about growth versus fixed mindset and how developing a growth mindset could be the unlock to the career in sport that you've dreamed of. Now, before we get into it, if you are tuning in, as you tune in right now, first I wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me for the show today. Let's hear from you. How is your week going? It's Friday. How's the week of training been? Is there anything that you're struggling with? Anything that has gone well for you this week? Do you have any competitions coming up? Let me know. Let me hear it. We got about 30 seconds before we're getting into the show. So let me know. Let me hear it. How's the week going? Things are going well, I hope. That is awesome to hear. That is awesome to hear. I'm glad things are going well. I hope it is for each and every one of you that is tuning into the show. So very quickly, one last reminder, as you tune in, the goal of the show is to help athletes reach the highest possible version of themselves in sport. What's going on? I appreciate you coming on. If you are an athlete tuning into this right now, share it with a friend, share it with a teammate, share it with somebody who is going to need to hear this message. Now, let's get into the show. So we're talking about growth versus fixed mindset, and we're talking about how developing a growth mindset can be the unlock you've been looking for in your athletic career. Let's get into the show in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Elite Development Podcast, the number one show for athletes looking to gain an edge on their opponent and build their dream careers in sport. I'm your host, Kenny Dusseault, and today we're going to be talking about the growth versus fixed mindset and how developing a growth mindset can help you in your athletic career. So first off, what is a growth mindset? A growth mindset is the belief that one's abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. It is the opposite of a fixed mindset, which is the belief that one's abilities and intelligence are fixed traits that cannot be changed. So if you ever heard, a friend, a teammate, a family member, whoever else say something like, well, that's just the way I am. So that is a perfect example of a fixed mindset. Somebody just believing that these traits they have are just how they're made, and that's it. They have no ability to change it. They have no ability to improve it. Whereas someone with a growth mindset is going to see that same flaw, or, one of the most common ones I see is people that are late to everything. People talk about, that's just how I am. I'm just always late. And people with a fixed mindset think that that is just how they have to be. Whereas people with a growth mindset understand you can fix that. You can change that. You can actually put work and effort into becoming someone who's not late all the time. And if you are someone who's late all the time, please fix that. It is just the most irritating thing. All right. So great example of a fixed mindset. Now, why is this important for athletes? So a growth mindset is incredibly important for athletes because it can help them actually improve their performance in sport and reach their full potential. And as you know, that is what we're all about here. So athletes with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges. They're more likely to see effort as a path to improvement and persevere through setbacks. They're also more likely to seek out feedback, learn from failure, and adapt to new situations. So if you have a growth mindset, regardless of what you have thrown at you while you're competing, regardless of what you have thrown at you while you're training, you're more likely to take that, embrace it, and learn from it than someone with a fixed mindset who's going to come with the approach of, for example, as a hockey player, if you get benched, the fixed mindset says, I got benched because my coach hates me. The growth mindset says, I got benched. That sucks. What can I do to make sure I don't get benched next game? So, in contrast to the growth mindset, athletes with a fixed mindset may be more likely to give up in the face of challenges, avoid taking risks, and blame external factors for their failures. Now, that is one that sticks with me a lot because that is something I talk about a lot on this show. If you are blaming external factors for your failures, that is going to be easily one of the best ways to determine that you have a fixed mindset. So, one massive example that I see of athletes with a fixed mindset as well is athletes that think they don't need a strength and conditioning coach because they can just figure it out themselves. Yes, all the info is out there, but if you are putting the time and effort into trying to figure that all out yourself, it is going to take you years to figure it out. So this fixed mindset attitude of I'm going to figure it out myself and I don't need external help or feedback to make that happen is one of the perfect examples of a fixed mindset and an athlete who is setting themselves up for failure. Now, obviously, as a strength and conditioning coach myself, that is one that really sticks. That is one that really sticks with me. But there are many, many other examples we can get into about that as well. So now, how can a growth mindset benefit you as an athlete? So number one we talked about was improved performance. So a growth mindset, athletes with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges and see effort as a path to improvement, which will lead to better performance. So we use the example of a hockey player getting benched. The fixed mindset is going to say, I got benched because my coach hates me, and immediately decide there's nothing they can do to fix it. Now, the growth mindset is going to take that same situation and they're going to look at that and they're going to say, what can I do to improve? What can I change in order to make sure I don't get benched again? So if you're an athlete right now facing a non-favorable situation within your team, within your career, whatever it might be, ask yourself that question. What can I do to change? If you're on a losing streak as a fighter right now, you're not on a losing streak because of bad luck. You're on a losing streak because of something that you're doing, whether it's training, competing, mental training, physical training, nutrition, recovery. What is it that you can change that is going to actually help you move forward in your career? So, another one that's huge for why a growth mindset can actually impact athletes is increased confidence. A growth mindset can also lead to increased confidence because athletes come to believe that their abilities and their intelligence can be developed through hard work and learning. So again, coming back to what I was just talking about, this is going to help athletes approach new challenges with optimism and determination instead of with that woe is me attitude that for some reason makes people think that everybody's just against them. Now, if you can approach a challenge with the thought that your ability and intelligence can be developed through hard work and learning, you are going to take the mindset of what can I do to improve? What can I do to change? And how do I fix my situation myself instead of just deciding that your situation is due to some sort of external circumstance? So, another huge one is greater enjoyment of their sport. So coming back to that same situation of a hockey player getting benched, if you think that there's nothing you can do to fix the situation you're in, if you think that, I got benched and I'm just screwed until the coach decides he doesn't hate me anymore, that's not going to be fun to go to practice. That's not going to be fun to go to games. That's not going to be fun to be a part of that team while that's happening. So if you can learn to embrace the challenge and embrace the idea that it's not because your coach it's not because your coach hates you. It's not because of, some external circumstance. It's not because they like this guy better or that guy better. You are in a non-favorable circumstance and there is something you can do to figure it out. Now you can go into practice every day with an objective. You can go into training every day with an objective. You can go into every game, even if you're not playing, with an objective. And if you can take an objective into practices, training, games, whatever else it might be, If you can take an objective in, you're more likely to come out with the outcome that you're looking for. You're more likely to get off of the losing streak. You're more likely to not be the healthy scratch in your next game. You're more likely to put yourself back into a better situation. And that's going to be way more fun than sitting around just deciding that everybody's against you. So the next one is, like, we've touched on this a little bit already, but I really wanted to emphasize it: the better handling of setbacks. So if you're an athlete right now and you're facing a non-favorable situation and you are approaching it with the growth mindset of understanding that failure or a setback is an opportunity to learn and grow, and it is not a failure that you can't come back from, this is going to help you recover faster from setbacks and bounce back with renewed motivation and determination. So the one I really want you guys to take away from that one is the better handling of setbacks. So many athletes out there believe that they're just going to magically cruise through their careers undefeated. They're magically just going to dominate everyone all the time. And honestly, that's just so rarely how life works. And it really shouldn't be what you're hoping for. So it is extremely important for all athletes out there to be challenged, whether it's in competition, in practice, whatever else. People tend to shy away from this because they're afraid of looking bad. They're afraid of making mistakes. They're afraid of failing, whatever else it could be. But it is extremely important that you are challenged. Challenges and setbacks provide athletes with opportunities for growth. By facing challenges and setbacks, you can learn new skills, you can improve your performance, and you can develop resilience. So if you're facing these setbacks early in your career, then when you are at the top, when you are competing for world championships, when you are making a living at your sport and something goes wrong, you've been there before. You understand how to deal with it because you faced setbacks early. These experiences can help athletes grow as athletes and people, and in turn are going to lead to greater success in the long run. So number 2, we touched on this quite a bit, but challenges and setbacks foster a growth mindset. As mentioned earlier, a growth mindset is the belief that one's abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. By embracing challenges and viewing setbacks as learning opportunities, athletes can cultivate a growth mindset, which can lead to improved performance and increased confidence. And honestly, challenges and setbacks are a natural part of sport. In sports, there are always going to be challenges and setbacks. It is important for athletes to learn how to handle these challenges and learn how to handle these setbacks in a healthy and productive way, rather than just becoming discouraged or giving up, so that when they continue to happen later in your career, you know how to deal with them, you know how to handle them, and you're not going to crumble on the world stage because you've been in these situations before. Finally, challenges and setbacks help athletes develop mental toughness. By confronting and overcoming these challenges and setbacks, athletes are going to develop mental toughness, which is the ability to stay focused and motivated in the face of adversity. You guys all know it. I've said it before. If you've listened to this show before, you understand it. You can be a physical specimen. You can have all the skills in the world. You can, on paper, be the greatest athlete in the world. If you don't know how to handle a setback, you don't know how to handle adversity, you don't have that mental toughness to work through pain and difficulty during your career, whether in training, in competition, or otherwise, you're screwed. Mental toughness is going to be a key factor in an athlete's success and can give them an edge over their competition. So if you're thinking now, damn, I definitely have a fixed mindset. So, I've definitely got some issues here. If any of the things that I just talked about there resonated with you, don't worry, you're not alone. There are tons of people out there that deal with this, and there are tons of ways that you can fix it. So that's what we're going to get into next, is how do you fix this fixed mindset and to start developing the growth mindset. So the first thing that I want you to work on, if you are working on developing the growth mindset and reframing your fixed mindset, is reframing negative self-talk. One of the biggest barriers to adopting a growth mindset is negative self-talk. Athletes with a fixed mindset may tell themselves all the time that they're not capable of improving or they're not naturally talented at their sport. So one of the things, this is one I hear all the time, and it drives me nuts. Well, that guy just is gifted, or, oh, that guy's so good because of his genetics, or whatever else it might be. Yeah, maybe, but that doesn't do anything for you. If that guy's good because of their genetics, if that guy's good because he has this advantage or that advantage, that doesn't mean you can't get better. That doesn't mean you can't put in twice as much effort into making the improvements you need to make, so that despite his good genetics or her good genetics, you can still beat them. So to overcome this negative self-talk, when you start telling yourself you're not talented, you're not good enough, other people have more gifts than you have, what you should try doing is reframing your thoughts and reminding yourself of your abilities, of your intelligence, and the fact that they are not fixed and they can continue to be developed. So the next time you say, oh, I'm just not good at that, instead of saying, as soon as you hear yourself say that, flip that to, how do I get better at that? And the second you can flip that to, how do I get better at that, from, oh, I'm just not good at that, the second you can flip that, now you can put together a plan to actually improve it. Now you can put together a plan to make the changes you need to make to improve in those areas where you're weak. The next thing that you guys can do to improve this fixed mindset and develop the growth mindset is seek out feedback. One of the best ways to overcome a fixed mindset is to seek out feedback from coaches, teammates, and other trusted sources. And if you're seeking out that feedback from coaches, teammates, and these other trusted sources, that's going to help you identify areas for improvement and see that your ability is not set in stone. This is going to help you see that what you're doing right now is not the best it can ever be, and you can continue to make positive change to your ability. So another thing that you're going to have to work on, and this one is a difficult one and definitely one that I've struggled with in the past, is embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Instead of viewing failure as a personal deficit, try to see it as a learning opportunity. By reframing failure in this way, athletes can cultivate the growth mindset and be more open to learning and improving. So if you lose a fight, if you lose a competition, if you make a bad mistake in training that you shouldn't have made, instead of looking at it and going, oh man, I suck, and giving yourself, that out of just deciding that you're just no good and that's why you're making mistakes or that's why you're losing, look objectively at your performance and ask yourself, what can I do to improve? What changes do I need to make to ensure that that doesn't happen again? And it might not happen right away. It might not work right away. The first time you try it, it might not get better. But the more you stick to that mindset, the better and better and better it is going to get. Now, the last thing that you should be doing to make sure that you are working on your fixed mindset and cultivating the growth mindset you need to succeed is surrounding yourself with growth-minded people. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded people. Surrounding yourself with others who have a growth mindset and others who are focused on improvement is a powerful, powerful way to adopt this mindset yourself. I'm sure you guys have heard the expression, you are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That could not be more true. If you are spending time with losers that have that fixed mindset, that have that just set in their head that life sucks and that's the way it is and there's nothing we can do about it, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get out of that mindset. However, if you spend your time around winners, spend your time around people that have that mindset that they can fix or they can change anything about their lives, you are going to start to understand that about yourself. And if you can start to understand that about yourself, you can start to make the changes you need and continue to develop the attitude you need to achieve anything you want to achieve in your sport. And in turn, live the life and have the career of your dreams athletically and whatever else comes afterwards. So, in conclusion, what I really, really want you guys to take away from this is that your mindset is a crucial part of the future success you will or will not see in sport. Spending time each and every day working on the things we talked about here, reframing negative self-talk, consistently seeking out and implementing feedback. That's another important point, because a lot of people love to get the feedback, but then either love to battle with the person that gets them the feedback, or they love to take it, go, yeah, I'm great, I'm seeking out feedback, and then not do shit with it. So consistently seeking out and implementing feedback, embracing failure as a learning opportunity, and surrounding yourself with growth-minded people, you will start to see more success in your life and put yourself in a position to make your athletic dreams come true. So that is it. That is all. I hope you guys got some value from this. This was a super enjoyable podcast for me. I really enjoyed bringing this one to you guys. That's a topic that I am very, very, very passionate about. I dealt with a fixed mindset for a very, very long time. And I've been working very, very hard on reversing that for myself. And it's done me wonders in my life. And I want to pass that on to each and every person who listens to this show as well. So I appreciate you all who took the time to tune in live. This is always super enjoyable for me to bring to you guys. And as you listen back on the replay, on the YouTube channel, the podcast, wherever it is you're finding the show, my one ask is that you share this with a friend, share this with a teammate, share this with anyone who is going to benefit from this message. This is still a small show, and my goal is to bring this to more and more and more people as time goes on. And we do that through word of mouth. So thank you all. I appreciate you for being here, and we'll talk to you all again soon.